his dreams. I felt like I was under a rain. I never see the face, but I hear the voice. Wake up and gather the women of the churches to pray for peace. The dream bearer is the dream carrier. You had the dream, and you have to carry the dream.
What if the dream is asking the impossible?
I know, because at that point I was like, I cannot do this. I can hardly pray except for once in a while. And then I was living in sin. I wasn't married to the man I was with. So how do I stand in front of church people and talk to them about praying to God for peace when my life was not peaceful? And they told me it doesn't matter. God used the foolish things of this world to confront the wise. I think maybe my spiritual side is that God has found someone who will do anything without thinking twice. My mother described me as the person who goes for a swim and never testing the water. Whether there are alligators underneath, I just go. And whatever is underneath there, will face it head on.
You Liberian people, I'm telling you today, those at home and abroad, Charles Taylor is only the mechanism for what you want.
At what point did you know that everything was lost?
July of 1990. And one after the other, we hear bad news about family and friends that their entire family got wiped out. That was the week that the soldiers came to the church compound where we stay, held us hostage for a moment, and let us go. That night, they would go to the church and kill over 200 people. People were in the church and they were killed. It meant that God was not even paying attention. My faith in God just went from this high to this low. Sad part about reaching that point was being very angry to the point that I made a lot of stupid mistakes, and it would take me many years to recover some of the mistakes that I made.
But very angry.
Very, very angry. Angry at God for not answering our prayers. Angry at my society for being hypocritical, teaching me that we're all one. Angry for so many reasons, for the innocent lives being lost. Just angry as a young person, not understanding the madness that had taken over my people.
So you have this dream, gather the women.
The first group of women that came were women from my church, and I told them the dream. And we spent the day praying. The day we decided to do a mass action where we would demonstrate for peace, we start with 7 women around the table and $10 US. It's an airstrip. They had a big soccer field, and we sat in that soccer field as our place of protest.
And Charles Taylor was aware that you were there.
Well, that field was centrally located. It was the only place he would pass to go to work in the morning, and it was the only place he would pass to go home in the evening. And there was no way anyone could miss us. Even if you try to turn your neck the other way, something would make you turn that way. Every morning we saw his convoy. 3 days after we started our protest, claimed that he was sick and stopped going to work. But we remained there and then decided to take our protest to him. We were over 2,500 women that went to see him. He said we should take 10 women up to his office to talk to him. And I said, hell no. They wanted those women. The women had come and he had to come down to see them. When he came down, he offered us seat. We refused the seat and sat on the floor. The podium was positioned that I would be talking to the women because the women were sitting down. And then he was at my back. And I said to them, no. The guy who was his protocol officer was like, why do you want to cause problems? Just leave it there. And I said, no. So I turned it around. My back was never to him.
He's wearing dark glasses.
Look, wearing dark glasses, and my opinion was that he was too afraid to look us in the eye. We are tired of war. We are tired running. We are tired begging for burger wheat. We are tired of our children being raped. We kindly convey this to the president of Liberia. Thank you. The only language they know is violence. You come at them with non-violence and they don't know how to function. So Taylor was waiting for a group of women to come and insult him, and then automatically he would call his guards. But for us to come and speak truth to power without using one negative word at him, it was too difficult to handle. People who use violence, they don't know how to engage. They don't have the language of peace. Let me just use terror, let me use violence on people. So the only word they know for peace is fight. You know, fight for peace. Use violence as a means of clamping down on a group of people.
Kill.
Yes.
So what did he do?
Well, he got up and told us that he would go to the peace talk. That was the first time he would make a public declaration about going to peace talk. So we felt like we had accomplished what we went there for. And we didn't have to raise any arms. People had been raising arms for 14 years. And we went there one day and spoke the language that we knew. Speak truth to power, tell him what it is you want, and then let history be the judge of all of you. We followed them to their peace talks in Ghana. We are their conscience. Sitting out here, we are calling to their conscience to do the right thing. And the right thing now is to give the Liberian women and their children the peace that they so desperately need. We anticipated a peace talk that would last 3 weeks. It lasted almost 3 months. It was a difficult period in the history, not just of Liberia, but for the women, because we ran out of money. It got to a place where the war had increased, intensified. I personally began to challenge the essence of nonviolence, if it could make any difference.
You said one day you just went berserk.
Yep. I saw a video of a missile blast. 2 young children got killed, and they were 2 boys, and it just reminded me of my own 2 sons. I cried myself into a plop and then got up and went to the women and told them, Let's send for more women. They brought us 4 bus load of women. I told them, sit here and loop arms. Then I did my hostage note, so I had it all planned up in my head and sent it into the room and said no one will come outside until they give us the peace that we needed. The security people came and said they were arresting me. I told them I would make arresting me very easy because I was stripped naked for them to take me to prison. As soon as I started, they all ran away and left me.
You created a peaceful solution by threatening to take your clothes off?
People ask this question all of the time. And they say for a country that they had raped so many women, why would taking your clothes off matter when you're raped? You're forced to. People tear off your clothes. They use force to make you submit. But when someone stands up where you're so desperate for peace and you're so hurt and upset at the state of a nation, where you decide to take your last shred of pride and give it away, that is the ultimate. So it wasn't threatening for peace. It was saying to a society that had taken away all of my belief in social justice, all of my belief in that men will protect women, all of my belief in that religious groups can live together peacefully. I was finally telling them, you've taken all of this from me. I'm giving you the last bit of my pride.
And it worked.
Well, they listened. They listened. What we've done here today is to send out a signal to the world that we, the Liberian women in Ghana, at this conference, we are fed up with the war, and we are doing this to tell the world we are tired of fighting the killing of our people. We can do it again if we want to. 3 weeks later, we got a peace agreement. We haven't gone back to war in 10 years.
And what happened to Charles Taylor?
He went to The Hague, and he's there for 50 years. I pity him. I pity his children. I pity the fact that Taylor won the Liberian elections with an overwhelming victory in 1997. He had the opportunity to be a leader, even after he had done so much harm to the people of Liberia. But he decided instead, I will be a ruler. And God decided, I will use you to teach you that I am the ultimate God. So I don't hate him. I feel sorry for him. Hate is poisonous. You get upset and you find a way of letting it all out. Anger is very fluid, like water.
So anger in and of itself is not bad.
No. No. We all have a bit of good and a measure of evil in us. Our ability to maximize those is what would decide or determine who the world get to know us to be. That's my take on people.
Could peace have come to Liberia without women, without you?
It needed women in a way that it would be very difficult for anyone to understand, because we had a very, and still do have a very patriarchal society. It was a moment in our history where something had to change. And that change that was needed was not just with the men and the guns, but it was that these women would come and it would show another way. Did it need me? I think I needed it more. I needed it to learn a lesson about the faith that I lost in humanity, the faith that I lost in my sense of community. Coming together to work with these women brought me back to the understanding and gave me that belief that even after the worst, you can still forge a community